Hey, how's it going? It's Foulin Out, back again. Episode 10. I'm Raymond.
Hey there, guys. It's John here. I'm glad to be back here in the studio, hosting another episode of Foulin Out with my co-host Raymond, and I hope to provide some good expertise and some expert advice and opinions in this upcoming episode.
John, are you feeling okay? It's a unique perspective that you're bringing today.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had a rough time with I'm going to see a doctor right now for I'm having irregular bowel movements right
Why?
now.
Why? First of all, I know that's not true. Second of all,
well, he prescribed some, the over the counter, the Miralax, the Miralax, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But another good thing that he said to do was to take 1/4 of a lemon.
Yeah.
And every time you're drinking a cup of water, to just dump all of that lemon juice into the water, so that it's citrus in it. It cleanses your body in a natural way.
This is fake news because you've been doing this for a long time. Well, obviously, one, you haven't been going to a doctor. Two, even if you have,
well, no, of course I'm not a professional doctor. I mean, I don't trust Obamacare.
John. Oh God, John. So here's how I know this is a lie. Because you've been doing this for a long time. This lemon thing where a normal human being takes like a slice of lemon, puts it in their water.
Well, yeah, but they don't realize the benefits of citrus.
You put a quarter of a lemon in your water. Your glass, I can see it right now. It is mostly lemon. And
no, it's mainly water.
No, it's mostly lemon.
Well, what's a lemon made up of? Sugar, sour lemon, and water.
A lemon is made out of lemon.
Yes. That's what the ingredients say on one lemon.
Yeah, one lemon.
One sour lemon part, sugar and water.
There's some
seeds and stuff that they don't advertise on there that are in there. But anyway,
I think what you're trying to do,
it's supposed to help condense my stool a little bit and soften it.
People don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear that, John.
But I think the people do want to hear some of our expert advice. So let's get going on with the 76ers against taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Yes.
Yeah. It's the NBA playoffs.
Yes. It's
good time of year.
It's a good time to be alive.
Yep.
If you have regular bowel movements.
John, if you talk about your bowel movements one more time on this podcast, you're off. I'm sorry.
All right, note taken.
Yeah, there you go. You have been warned.
All right, that's fair. I mean, well, it is our show, and I think we can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Oh no, John's very upset now. He's crying.
I'm not crying here.
I can see it. All right, let's talk playoff basketball.
Yeah, I guess it's easy. Okay, let's talk playoff basketball.
All right, Sixers versus Nets. So, this is going to be the 3 seed versus the 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. I think a lot of people thought Sixers were going to win this one going away, right?
I think that was the main consensus going into this one. Maybe like a win in 5 games or win in 6 games. I could potentially see the Nets taking 2 of these games, but I don't think any game on the road. I think the 76ers, with the amount of talent that they have, with Simmons as a passing threat and Embiid, even though he is somewhat injured, would be able to carry the day. And get the dubs for most of the games, but game 1 did not turn out that way.
No, very surprised to see this result. Brooklyn comes out on the road. It has a pretty dominant showing. Sixers brought it to within 2 early in the third quarter, but for the most part, the Nets controlled the game.
Yep, they didn't lose the lead since the first quarter.
Nope. They had guys coming off the bench contributing. They pretty much shut down Redick. They didn't really let him do anything offensively.
And big props to D'Lo.
Yeah. He came out a little shaky. First half, I think he was 2 for 11. He ends up hitting 7 of his last 9 shots to really put the game away. And, yeah,
But like
he's a young guy,
yeah,
right?
he's a young guy. I mean, but like Levert and Dinwiddie also coming off the bench, providing a total of, what's that? 18, 20, 41 points.
Yeah.
It's very valuable, especially for a team going up against a team that doesn't have a whole lot of depth, but a lot of talent in their starting five. But going off to talk a little bit about Ben Simmons, he just wasn't there. I mean, like, yeah he had what 7 rebounds, only 3 assists from a guy who's known to be like a guy that gets the ball to other players on his team. And only 9 points. What happened here? What happened here for Philly?
When you saw the defensive game plan, what the Nets decided to do, and it's what a lot of teams do, just sag off Ben Simmons. It gives you an extra defender in the paint.
It's like playing Duke, in a way, because Ben Simmons can't shoot.
Yeah,
or they'll give him the 3-point shot.
He's never made a 3-pointer. He has yet to make one.
Really?
Yep. He's taken a couple in game, but he's never made one in game. And it's you sag off. You take away his driving lanes by doing that. So really, the only way he can score is in transition. And the half court set, and we saw this against the Celtics last year. If you have a good coach that can come up with a good game plan, you got players that are willing to execute. Ben Simmons is not the generational talent that a lot of people thought he was going to be. And I'm not saying that he can't get there or that he's not a very good player right now, because he is. He's for sure a good player, and he can play better than what he played last night, even without having a jump shot. But I think he needs some sort of outside face-up game that can it is at least competent enough that defenders will guard him on the perimeter. Because right now you just leave him, and he hasn't shown that he can adapt to that.
Yeah, and in an evolving NBA style game, point guards are required to be shooting the ball from deep. And this is sort of an old school way of doing it, but it's really sort of an unorthodox way too, because he's such a big guy to be point guard. He's like what 6'6", 6'7",
6'10".
6'10". Oh wow,
Yeah.
I was way off. He looked a bit shorter to me than what the numbers say.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's a pretty tall dude. Taller than me, and that's saying something because I'm pretty tall. I know I don't sound very tall, but I am pretty tall.
You're not. You're above average, I guess, but you're not a basketball player.
Stop. All right. But I guess the way that Philly finds success in these in the playoffs is just to I think get the ball moving a bit more. Like, yes, you need the ball in Ben Simmons' hand, but I think he needs to like drive more to the lane.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that statement. Yes.
What would you think, Mr. Basketball Expert, on how Philly needs to do to succeed in the basketball games?
Johnny, you feeling okay?
Oh, I'm feeling fine.
Okay. I'm a little worried about you.
The lemon water is definitely helping. I feel like it's already cleansing my what do you call it? Blood veins. I can feel like instead of like it's like not bubbles, it's like actual liquid. So I don't feel stopped up anymore.
Oh my god. Looking at what Philly's got to do, it's you just got to play to your strength. And that's getting out and running in transition. That's keeping the ball moving and getting the ball to the guys that can make plays. And you got to make your shots. Tobias Harris made 2 shots. He's supposed to be an all-star. You can't be an all-star and make 2 shots in a game. Embiid, granted, he was injured, but he didn't really do much from the field. He had to get to the line to get his points. We already talked about Simmons. Butler showed up. Jimmy Butler.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Butler definitely showed up. 36 points. The man was an absolute beast that game.
But yeah, I still think Philly gets this series. Maybe not as easily as we thought, but I think they end up winning this.
I don't see the Nets having as much talent to compete with them.
Yeah.
But moving on to another team in the East, that has a lot of talent but didn't get the job done. The Magic versus the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, we see another similar story here that we've seen in past years with the Raptors. Kyle Lowry ain't shown up. He crumbles in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And LeBron's not even in the East this year.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lowry going over the box score, 0 points.
That's an easy one.
7 rebounds, 8 assists. So he was able to get the ball to his friends on the basketball team, but he just couldn't take it. He couldn't score. I mean, he only took 7 shots, 6 of them from 3. So granted, they're lower percentage shots. But I mean, Kawhi Leonard having to do the bulk of the work, getting 25 points, 10 of 18 from the field.
Siakam as well.
Siakam, yes,
That
shooting
dude.
50%.
He's going to get paid this offseason.
Yeah, also played 42 minutes.
Yeah.
He only missed 2 minutes of the game.
Young guy. Great player. I think the Raptors are going to be fine. Again, just another team, very talented. Magic, to their credit, played very well down the stretch. They hit every big shot that they had to.
Shot 48% from 3.
Yeah.
Too.
Augustine, Fournier. Terrence Ross, who's one of their better 3-point shooters, actually struggled this game. But we're able to make up the slack.
Carter Williams also had a nose injury or something. He
towards
had
the end of the
blood
game.
dripping out of his nostrils.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
he had
gross.
to put some paper towels up there.
Yeah, he sat out the rest of the game. But you know what's surprising is Vucevic, definitely, I would say, Magic's best player, especially on the offensive end, ends up with only 3 for 14 from the field, and they still find a way to win. So that's just, the guards stepping up, making big shots. So that's what I think you got to look as a Magic fan. It's like, hey, we did not play our best game, and we were still able to win, even though it took a lot down the stretch. But I think if you're a Raptors fan, you got to say, hey, Lowry isn't going to score 0 points every game. Magic aren't going to shoot 50% from 3 every game.
From a numbers standpoint, this was an outlier.
Yeah.
This was not projected to happen. And I think the Raptors will get back to their winning ways. And I think they'll win the next 2. I think they'll win the next one in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to Orlando. And I think that they'll win that game against the Magic down there. Maybe steal one in Disney World. And sort of take those childish hopes away from the Magic.
Yeah, poor guys.
And then go back to Toronto and hopefully get a chance to get that series win.
Yeah, finish up the series in Toronto. I think Raptors are another team that they got a lot to prove in the playoffs. They've had a lot of talented teams in the past, and they just cannot get by LeBron James. But this might be their year.
This
with
might be the year.
gone and bringing in Kawhi Leonard, a guy that's won a championship with the Spurs.
But let's talk about the team that LeBron is on. So the Warriors
No, he's not on the Warriors.
No, that Los Angeles. He's on the. Oh no, that's the wrong LA team.
Yeah, if you can imagine, LeBron didn't make the playoffs.
I think it's the meds that I'm on, but
the lemon
Warrior,
juice.
Stop.
The lemon juice that you've been drinking.
You know what, Raymond? The alternative ways of medicine are beneficial to many other people out there. Because just think of all the people that don't have
lemon juice is not alternative medicine. It's lemon juice.
It's the power of lemon.
Is that you? Are we gonna start we're gonna make a store page, sort of a la Alex Jones, and sell lemon juice pills.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm all aboard then. Yeah, let's do it.
That's what the seeds are for.
Yeah. We take the seeds, we bottle them up.
Yeah.
And sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Fallon
and
out
then they
brand.
can grow. Yeah, and then they can grow their own their lemons.
Yeah. Fallon out.
But
brand
anyway,
lemons.
let's talk about actual things that we should be talking about, and not get sidetracked like my partner does. And talk about the Warriors versus the Clippers. I did not hear what you said there.
I didn't say anything.
Just not enough talent for the Clippers to really pose a threat in this series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially when you're going up against Steph Curry, the greatest shooter to ever play the basketball game. Kevin Durant, the second best player in the world right now, potentially new number 1 since LeBron sucks on LA. Klay Thompson, one of the best defensive players, and Draymond Green, who will kick you in the balls. I think it's really hard to sort of win against that team.
Yeah, when it's just it's almost not fair because, Steph Curry, he'll have a bad game every once in a while, right? KD, even Kevin Durant, he'll have a bad game every once in a while. Klay Thompson, he's usually pretty consistent, but he has stretches where he struggles. Cousins coming off the injury, he's not always going to be his dominant self. So you got 4 guys. They're going to have bad games every now and then, but they're all on the same team.
Yep.
They're not going to have a bad game all at the same time.
It's statistically hard to do that. Like it's 0.25 times 0.25 times 0.25 times 0.25.
Yeah.
Which is
Very
a number,
low.
and it's a very low percentage. I think it's like a 2 or less than 1% chance of that happening.
And that's what you need. You at least need to be able to stop 2 of the guys from scoring.
Preferably Curry and Durant.
But that's really hard.
Yes, and I don't think the Clippers have enough talent to do it.
Nope.
I mean, Lou Williams coming off the bench did a really good job, and Montrezl Harrell shot 11 of 15.
Both very talented players, but it's just like you can only score so many points. It's hard to keep pace with the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean it's just hard any given night to just sort of do this. But I mean, like Gilgeous Alexander also had a very good night.
That's not how you pronounce it.
Well, that's how it's written. It's just a made-up name. He shot 6 of 16 from the field with 18 points. Very impressed with his performance, and Patrick Beverley seemed to get in it with Kevin Durant there. Did a few foul moves, mocked him.
Yeah, mocked how he was flopping. That's what Patrick Beverley does. He doesn't care. He knows Kevin Durant is obviously the superior player. Or maybe he doesn't. Who cares? He does not care who you are. He's going to bring his A game. He wants to fight you.
He has no care for human life, including his own.
Yep. He'll throw his body on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be a quick series.
Yeah, this should be finishing 4.
Maybe steal 1 at home. Probably not, though.
But yeah, Curry went for 38 points, 15 rebounds, a nice double-double there. 23 points from Kevin Durant, 17 from Green, and 12 from Klay Thompson. Bench not doing a lot, but do you think if there is a chance later in the playoffs that the Warriors can be exposed for not having a great bench?
No. I don't think it matters. I think that if they stagger their starters, which they usually do, they're going to be fine. Their bench doesn't need to produce. Their bench needs to go out there, run the offense, get a couple of buckets, but really feed, their 5 guys that are offensive stars, or 4 plus Draymond. And that's how they win. And who?
And Boogie. But he's not really that good on the Warriors.
Yeah,
if you look at his plus minus, he's not the best.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely struggled, but he's still a very talented player.
All right, cool. So moving on to the next game, the Spurs taking on the Nuggets in Denver, and this is a pretty classic game of old age and treachery versus youth and skill.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely say,
and old people win this one.
The Nuggets have more talent, but the Spurs, they've been there before. They got Pop, they got DeRozan, and they just know how to win games. And you could see that at the end of the game.
Yeah, and another upset here too.
Yep.
This is the 3 out of 4 on the first day of the playoffs were upsets.
Of course, Warriors will not be upset, but I mean, I was pretty upset that they won, but it's fine. Yeah, towards the end of the game, Murray with the costly turnover, and that's just a classic example of veteran savvy versus youth and inexperience. Jokic struggled, I would say, he had a triple double,
sort of a weak triple double.
Yeah, he needs to score more, and the Nuggets just need to settle down. I think they should win this series. They're a very talented team, but they don't really have that offensive superstar on the at the guard position to win you games late. And this is like kind of how I pick teams in March Madness, I always look to the teams that they got that Carson Edwards player, that point guard, shooting guard guy that can get you a tough bucket late. And, Nuggets, they got Murray and Harris, both talented, but not all-star or, elite level.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder if that's going to cost them in the postseason. I think they'll get by the Spurs fine, but
maybe. I don't know. I think this is my potential upset pick.
Okay.
Like LaMarcus Aldridge, White, DeMar DeRozan, Forbes, all these guys, Rudy Gay.
Mm-hmm.
This team has the potential to win a series here.
They are a good home team, so now that they have home court advantage, they don't lose a lot of games in San Antonio, so Nuggets got to steal one.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. Going into the next game tonight, right, for them? Yeah. Or tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. Yeah.
My bad.
I think they actually got 2 days off. I can't remember exactly. It's kind of weird how the scheduling works.
If you can't remember stuff, you should try drinking lemon water. I hear it helps sort of just like, get all the toxins out of
Did we actually get a sponsorship from like Big Lemon?
We should. I'll contact the place where all the lemons are grown, probably in China or Mexico.
Okay. Maybe a little offensive there, but
No, most of food that's grown in the world is actually grown in China.
All right, well then.
And I mean, can lemons even grow in most of the states of the United States other than Florida and California?
I don't know.
I don't think you can grow. I don't think you can have sustainable farms.
That's your
outside.
job.
No, it's not my job.
Look it up.
I will look it up, but it's not my job to look it up. I don't get paid to do that.
You don't get paid to do anything, actually.
Oh yeah, well, that's right. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem. All right.
You don't get paid either.
Well, you don't know that. Maybe we've had an Audible sponsorship this whole time, and I've been keeping it from you.
Oh, so now is it time for me to introduce our sponsor?
No, that was a lie. We don't have one.
I really don't like your tricks. You're tricky. You're a tricky dude. Somebody's gonna come along and think like, oh, this guy's an honest guy, and then you're gonna take
their Audible money.
What?
Take their Audible money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will. I have no shame.
Wow.
Speaking of no shame,
your shirt sucks.
Celtics versus Pacers. I'm wearing a Kyrie Irving jersey. That's why he said that. This is a classic case of defense wins championships.
This is a classic case of none of these teams know how to play offense.
Two teams really going at it on the defensive end of the floor. Pacers came out, really set the tone in the first half, saying like, hey, we're here to play. Turned the Celtics over a lot. I think the Celtics had 10 plus turnovers at half. They cleaned that up a
total
little bit.
Of 20 turnovers at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was just it was a mess offensively for the Celtics in the first half, and they sort of figured it out in the second half. Shots still weren't falling, but they were getting into their offense more. They got to find consistency. Pacers were very consistent in the second half.
They kept pace with losing.
Yep, they were really good at not making any shots. So not inconsistent, very consistent at being bad. Partially it was the Celtics playing very good defense, but also they just missed open looks. They missed layups. They missed open threes. They missed free throws. Stuff that you gotta score points to win the game. I mean, that's not analysis. That's just a fact. And if
you got to put points in the bucket, you got to get balls in the. You have to put the ball in the basket.
Yes.
In basketball, and the Pacers did not really do that well.
Yeah, no, not very good.
But looking at the game, though, I mean, like we always talk about like rules of basketball.
Yeah.
And, you know my number one rule, and stop it. I'm gonna let me do it. All of our listeners. Okay, you know what? I will chop your knees off.
What is that, Coach Hines?
I will come over there. If you don't stop what you're doing, I'm gonna come over there, and I'm gonna take this piece of plastic wire I have. Okay, I just ruined a joke. I'm gonna take this metal coat string, and I'm gonna saw your leg off from the kneecap.
Okay, Coach Hines.
Anyway, but looking at the free throw percentage, rule number 1. Make goddamn free throws. Pacers did not do it very good. 12 of 21, 57% from the line. That's a big oof from me, dog.
Yeah, pretty bad.
So, I mean, yes, Victor Oladipo's out. Yes, it's on the row. But, like, come on, guys. Like, get it done. I mean, this is a Celtics team that has been, like, barking at having, like, internal strife the entire season. And if there's a time and place to get an upset, this may be it. But they sort of blew it.
Yeah. Again, Pacers a team. It's like they've been able to win without the talent, but how far can they take team ball in the postseason? You always need a guy that can be a go-to scorer, and they don't have that. But then for the Celtics, they at the beginning of this season they had championship aspirations, or at least getting a chance to lose to the Warriors in 5 games,
which is an honorable thing.
Yeah, it's really truly an honor. Thank you, Warriors, for letting us do that. But man, they've been so inconsistent this year, and they got the win this game, but it took a really poor performance from the Pacers to make that happen. And it'll be interesting to see if the Celtics can find any sort of offensive consistency.
Great analysis, and I think that does respect to that game. So let's move on to the next game and the last completed game that we will be talking about today, which is the Thunder versus the Portland Trailblazers. So Damian Lillard, McCollum, they get their first playoff victory this season, 104-99 against the Thunder. They came out big in the first quarter, outscoring the Thunder by 14 points, but then only having a 6-point lead at half. And they eventually are able to hold off the Thunder with superior work from Damian Lillard with Lillard with 30 points, 9 field goals out of 21 attempts, 7 of 8 from the line. Paul George was very good in this game, though, for the Thunder.
No, he was not. He was 8 of 24 from the field.
Okay. Well, you know what? If the app says that he was their top performer with 26 points, 8 field goals out of 24 shots, which I know is a lower percentage. But Raymond, when looking at stats, you have to compare that to all the other players on the team. So let's take a look at Russell Westbrook. Oh, he did have a triple-double.
As he often does. That's sort of like Westbrook's thing, is he gets triple-doubles. I would
they have
say,
a guy the guy that plays the piano from the Peanuts, Schroeder.
Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah. Well, Schroeder. I mean, the guy who plays the piano.
No. Dennis Schroeder is from Germany, and he played for the Hawks last year.
Oh.
Sorry to ruin your day, I guess.
Well, my day was already ruined with some irregular bowel movements.
Oh my God. I apologize for John's behavior. But I would say looking at these two teams, both these teams had disappointing playoff performances last year.
Portland getting swept.
Yeah, OKC, they had a second round exit, but they were hoping to compete for a championship or a conference championship. They had their big 3 of Carmelo, Paul George, and Westbrook, and it just didn't work.
Yep.
And then this season, they had a really good stretch. They were up to the 3 seed at one point, and then they sort of sputter out at the end of the season after the All-Star break.
Well, it was really tight between like the 3, or really like from 1 to 7. Like it was all within, I think, like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, it was definitely going on a 3-game losing streak probably meant that you dropped like 4 seeds or something like that. And that's what happened with OKC. They dropped down to the 6 seed.
Yes.
3 versus 6.
Yes.
And Paul George, he's been talking this whole season about how guys have called him not clutch in the past, like a choke artist. And he's definitely delivered in regular season games. He's had 4 game winners this year alone.
Yep.
But man, coming out of the gates with a not really what you want to see from Paul George, especially in the playoffs. You expect more consistency. 8 of 24. He had the raw numbers at the end of the day, 26 points. But
a big story here was the 3-point percentages from each team. I mean, Portland shot 44%. Thunder shot 15%.
Tough to win.
Yeah, and especially when most of the 3-pointers, I think like the vast majority of those 3-pointers came from Paul George.
He had 4 out of 5.
Yeah, no, 4 out of 15.
No, 4 out of the 5 made were Paul George.
Oh, yeah, true. But I mean, if you look at like 15 out of like the 25 shots that were taken or 30 shots that were taken, were Paul George's. So I mean, the ball was sort of consolidated in Westbrook and George's hands.
That's how they tend to run the offense.
Yeah, pretty selfish. But I mean, sometimes selfishness pays off. Guess not when you're going up against Portland with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum.
Mm-hmm. Lillard had a killer 3. I believe it was getting kind of close. Thunder were kind of making a little bit of a run, and Lillard just calmly rises up from like 30 feet, knocks down the 3, sort of get the crowd back into it, sort of calm some nerves that maybe had come up with the run that the Thunder were going on. Damian Lillard delivered in this game, and I think that's going to be the story in this series. I think this is going to be a good series.
This should
be 6-7 games. Thunder play very well on the road. I believe they have a winning record, even as a team that's sort of lower down in the seeding. They have a winning record on the road, so I could definitely see them making this tough on Portland, and hoping this goes to 7 games.
Definitely. Let's take a look at the ongoing game right now that's at half. The Bucks versus the Pistons, and the Pistons getting their doors just blasted open by Giannis and crew.
Blake Griffin isn't playing, and Pistons already like totally outclassed in this matchup. So without Blake Griffin, they don't really stand a chance in this game.
Lopez, the 3-point marksman with 14 points. Antetokounmpo with 14 points as well. Hill coming off the bench with 13. I don't think there's a chance that the Pistons can even win a game in this series. I think the Bucks win this in 4.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's unfortunate that that Blake Griffin isn't playing, but I mean, you still have Andre Drummond, Thon Maker, Ellington, Zaza Pachulia as well. I mean, Zaza Pachulia could injure the Greek Freak. I mean, there's a chance there.
Yeah. Seemed to work out for him last time when he did it to Kawhi. But I don't see Pistons putting up too much of a fight. Even with the Bucks injury, losing Mirotic after they traded for him, and then Brogdon, who he finished the season with the 50-40-90. I don't know if you knew that. On pretty decent volume. He's averaged around 16 points a game.
Yeah.
So getting a 50-40-90 as a third-year player, just great talent. It's going to be a big loss. I don't know the timetable for him like coming back. Maybe I think not this round for sure.
Yeah. So let's just skip this shit game and let's go to the Utah Jazz versus the Houston Rockets. This is the 5 versus the 4 game in the West. And the Rockets are looking to take the Jazz out for the second straight time this season because they got the 1-8 matchup last year. Now they get the 4 and the 5, so we can obviously see which teams are trending up and trending down.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell, the MVP, going for the Utah Jazz in this game, going up against James Harden, the marksman, and potential MVP candidate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Donovan Mitchell's not an MVP candidate. James Harden is.
Yeah.
Averaging 36 points a game. But I don't know. I want to get your feel for it. So, do you think the Rockets have a chance to make some noise outside of this 4-5 playoff series?
I think so. I like, I think a lot of people, when they talk about James Harden, it's about the flopping and, how he plays the game and manipulates.
The traveling.
Manipulates rules in order to make his game better. But when I watch him play, the dude is unreal. He's unconscious. And
he gets
he's
the
an
most
all-time great.
Yeah, he is an all-time great. He gets the most amount of ISOs too.
Yeah.
And he can take it to the rim. He's great at making moves on his defender.
I really like James Harden, and I think that he has a chance to carry his team to a conference championship appearance. I don't know if he will be able to. It's going to be tough. The West is a gonna be a bloodbath. I think even though with this being a 4-5 matchup, I would say the Jazz are pretty big underdogs.
Yeah, there's a big difference from 5 to 4, I think, and the Jazz sort of got lucky with where they are seated in this because I think the Thunder are a better team than the Jazz. Maybe even there's the case to make that the Spurs are better. But anyway, good game to watch and a good series to keep an eye on too. We will definitely keep you updated on how this series turns out. But on to our best segment, the one that we both created at the start of the show a few months ago. It was called Who Fouled Out? Raymond.
You want me to go first?
Well, I mean, I'd like to. You're the one that has the name first on the show. I think you deserve to go first and give your opinion.
There you go. All right.
Here we go.
I got Magic Johnson fouling out. Not playoff related, I know, but it's just hilarious. What?
AIDS related?
What? I said playoff related.
Oh.
You feeling that?
Well, you said not playoff related, and he has AIDS.
Oh. No. I'm saying because, we're talking about playoffs this whole show. Not talking about the playoffs here because, Lakers didn't make the playoffs. But, man, what a disaster the Lakers have been this season. Magic Johnson, sort of a culmination of all of this. He just steps down. He says, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not having fun. And it's like, wow, you really thought being the president of basketball operations for a giant franchise was going to be fun?
Yeah, that hasn't been, important since Kobe left.
Yeah. It's, and then Luke Walton gets fired on top of it. I don't know. I think Magic Johnson, he really bumbled this one. The team he put together around LeBron was pretty much a joke.
Couldn't get any shooters, which is what we've been saying for a long time. Put shooters around LeBron.
And it's a conference championship appearance. Easy. That's why I got fouling out. Lakers got a lot of work to do. To get back into the playoffs, even with LeBron. So who do you got? Who you got fouling out?
I have the Indiana Pacers, and I know that they don't have Big O on their team playing, but how you can't? The final score of this game was 84-74. That's not an NBA score. That's a college score.
Yeah.
They scored 8 points, 8 points in the third quarter.
That's very little.
But they actually they beat the Celtics in every other quarter, other than the first where they tied.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if they didn't have such a terrible third quarter, they probably would have won this game. 57% from the line. Also, that's a definite F from me, as in you fouled out and failed. And you couldn't win based off. You couldn't get points off of turnovers either. They had 20 They drew. Oh my God. They made the Boston Celtics commit 20 turnovers, and they couldn't capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Only 14 fast break points compared to the Celtics' 24.
Yep.
They got out rebounded by the Celtics too. Just an overall bad effort from the Pacers. I think they really need to get better in the next 2 days.
Yeah,
I know that sounds very, very simple, but it's easier said than done. They just got to get better. Just got to get better, turning that, capitalizing on opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're a better team than what they showed today. They played very well throughout the regular season, even without Victor Oladipo. But man, they just missed everything. It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen. But anyways, moving on. 3 big questions. I got one for you. I was talking about Magic Johnson. Do the Lakers make it? Oh God, I'm dying. I need some of that lemon juice. Do the Lakers make it back to the postseason next year?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm thinking. Well, they have LeBron still, and I mean, he's sort of he's the best player in the league right now, and he's also he sort of manages the team. It all depends on what kind of coach that they get. If they can get Ty Lue to come back, then they have a chance, because that means they've Ty Lue and LeBron have played with each other. They know they gel. But it all comes down to, can they draft somebody who can actually shoot the ball? Can they get other people who can gel with LeBron? And they're going to have to trade away a lot of their players to do that. They're going to have to trade Ball. They're going to have to trade Kuzma, JaVale McGee. If
Kuzma can shoot a little bit.
Yeah.
I do agree Ball is a weird fit with LeBron.
Yeah, he should not be playing with LeBron, I think. Because LeBron is he's a great passer.
Yeah.
You don't need another great passer on that team. You need a great shooter, and you need some guys who can take it to the rim as well. I don't think that they'll make the postseason, though, next year. Just the way that they're in shape. They're way out of playoff shape right now.
Yeah.
It's going to take another year, I think.
And the West is so stacked.
Yeah.
It's those 8 spots are very coveted. You know, you look at like the Clippers as an 8 seed, they'd be probably like a 6 seed or something.
Yeah. And pretty much anybody can compete in the West other than the Suns.
Yeah. Yeah. They got 15 teams or 14 teams that are very competitive.
Yep.
You got any questions for me?
Yeah, I'm sort of going through. So with baseball, Red Sox have sort of had a rocky start to the season. They're what, 4-9?
Mm-hmm.
How do they start to turn it around? I know it's early in the baseball season, but I'm thinking about ways about how Boston can maybe get better.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching them past few weeks. It comes down to the starters being able to come out and lock down opponents. You can't give up huge, big chunks of runs early on in games like they've been doing. David Price actually got, I believe, the first win for a Boston Red Sox starter today.
Shut out today against the O's. I mean, which is not really hard since there's some dude that doesn't even have a hit on that team.
Well, actually, Chris Davis got 2 hits yesterday against Porcello.
Okay.
So, yeah, we ended that streak real quick.
But hey, you're 6-10 now.
Yeah. It's just, the starters got to pitch up to what they're capable of doing. You know, Sale had not been himself. Porcello hasn't been himself. David Price, got the win today, but hasn't been himself. Because the bullpen has been all right. Better than expected.
Better than the Pirates bullpen.
Yeah,
for sure.
The bullpen has been honestly above average. They performed well above their weight class. And the offense has been hit or miss. But it's just consistency from the starters, I think, is where you start. I think the offense will come naturally. Some guys you have slumps early on that you can work out of. They got so much talent.
Still very, very early in baseball. There's tons of time. And we don't even know what these teams are until mid-May, really, So
yeah.
You have one more question left in you?
Yeah. All right. So we got the Eastern Conference, right?
Yes. And there's a Western Conference.
Yeah. I'm looking specific. I think Western Conference, I'm just going to assume the Warriors are going to make it out of there. We've had 2 upsets so far. Sixers losing to the Nets, and then Magic beating the Raptors. Who do you see coming out of the East? I mean, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be chalk in the first round, but some teams have something or other to say about that. Who do you think is going to make it, and who do you think is going to choke early on?
So looking at it, I think the Bucks get the first win. I think that's pretty well established. They'll probably beat the Pistons in 4. I think the Celtics will also take care of the Pacers, maybe in 6 games. I think. Mm-hmm. My potential upset bid for the Eastern Conference is the Magic over the Raptors. I think that definitely can happen. The way that the Raptors sort of shit themselves in the playoffs may continue into this year, even though they're not playing against LeBron. Mm-hmm. I think the Sixers get it done, but I think it's going to take 6 or 7 games against the Nets.
Okay.
And then moving on, I think the Sixers will be able to get by the Magic. I don't think the Magic's magic will magically last for that long. Okay. I think the Bucks take on the Celtics and beat them in, I think, 5 or 6 games. And then I think the Bucks will be able to beat the Sixers.
So you got Bucks.
I do have Bucks. It's not completely chalk, Not completely chalk, but I do have chalk coming out of that.
I think
that side of the
picking
conference.
chalk in NBA is generally smart. With 7-game series, it's really tough for upsets to happen. And I agree. I think the Bucks, even with their injuries, are a very talented team. It's been one game. I think the Raptors are the best team in the East due to the Bucks' injuries. But after one game, they haven't really shown it. I think it'll be interesting to see how the rest of that Magic series plays out because I think the Raptors are insanely talented. But they got to play up to it.
We'll see. Lowry has to play.
Yeah, they got to play up to what they're capable of doing. But I like that Bucks pick. I think they're really good. Giannis is insanely talented. But I think that's all we got. That was 3 questions, right?
Yeah, that was 3 questions. Thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I apologize if my medical talks were unappealing.
They were.
But I do think that we do need to hear some other talk about other subjects of people's lives that I think may benefit them other than just sports, because athletes need to deal with medicine all the time too.
What do you think Markelle Fultz should do about his stupid shooting form and broken arm?
He should quit basketball.
Oh, that's a good form of alternative medicine. Just give up.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some lemon juice. We'll see.
All right. Well, you heard it here first from Foulin Out. Give up and drink lemon juice.
Exactly, because that's what's life. That's all that life's about.
All right.
What can you do?
When life gives you lemon, give up and drink lemon juice.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. We'll be back next week. Maybe. I don't know.
We may just
at this point.
We may just die on lemon juice.
Yeah, it's possible. Oh, Jesus.
Good night.